All right, we're live here Sunday night, Clout Demonz show. We got a full crew except for Bree. Bree's not here. Bree's partying in Houston. She's in Houston. We got Stewie back there, Noah, Ron, TJ, Jamil. We got special guest KJ. He's going to talk about his clothing brand with us for a little while. But we had a huge weekend. Friday, was it Friday? Friday was the big day. Big day in Louisiana. LSU basketball with some good news. Saints football, good news. And then it got ruined by LSU baseball over the weekend. But all in all, it was a pretty good weekend. We got a lot to talk about. But we can start it off with the news today. LSU football landed 4-star running back Trey Holly. He's in North Louisiana at Union. Yeah. Huge addition to the running back room, especially with a lot of our guys being older, like John Emery and Noah Kane, who are going to be supposed to be the 1 and 2, and then you got Amari Goodwin in there too. So it's good to add another guy in that group. But yeah, no, he should be able to make an instant impact in the running back room if this year goes to plan. Emery, should ball out this year, go to the draft. We'll be able to add Holly in. He fits the mold of an LSU running back, especially under Frank Wilson. Frank Wilson had guys like Jeremy Hill, Leonard Fournette, guys that are just going to run at your face. And that's the type of running back Trey Holly is. So he's a huge get for Brian Kelly and LSU to add to this 2023 class. And then also today we got some NBA playoff basketball. You can see Jax in the chat, our local Celtics fan. He's pumped up after the win today. Anybody watch the game?
Yeah, I watched a little bit of it. Grant Williams went crazy.
How are you gonna bet on letting a guy like him shoot? You can't. You can pick and choose your battles, but in a game 7, you can't let anybody. Because in the playoffs, role players step up.
Yeah, and the Celtics, they're the type of team where they're so deep 1 through 9 on their bench, where anybody could They have so many 3-and-D wing players, which are so critical for playoff success in this NBA.
Yeah, no, and the Bucks bet on a role player not being able to step up, and Grant Williams stepped up.
Yeah, I also think it was going to come down to Giannis. If Giannis had put up 35, 40 points, it would have been a different ball game. But from the time the ball was tipped off, the Celtics, their defense was phenomenal. They were getting steals. They were aggressive. They were physical. It was a very physical game. It was a physical series. It was I think it was one of the best. This whole playoff's been good, but it's one of the top up their series so far. And it was just important if they held Giannis to 25 points. He did his thing on the board with 20 rebounds, but turnovers killed them too. Had they eliminated some turnovers, but Jason Tatum at home, that crowd, TD Garden. I kind of was pulling for the Celtics. I knew the Celtics was gonna pull it out, and I think they're the better team. And the Celtics Heat series gonna be good.
Would y'all say this playoffs has felt like older, like past playoffs, like the early 2000s playoffs?
It feels like it's kind of reset. COVID kind of threw a wrench in everything.
Mm-hmm.
You have the bubble, and then last year there still weren't really fans, and so this year was good. It feels like a good reset back to normal.
And the intensity back too, like a lot of the trash talking, like in the Warriors and Timberwolves or the Warriors and Grizzlies series. There was a lot of intensity, a lot of trash talking, mostly from Draymond. But the Grizzlies, they were going at it too, even though they knew the Warriors, y'all have won 3 championships, and the Grizzlies, it's their second time in the playoffs as that team. They still went up there hey, we're not gonna let y'all push us around. We here too. We were the number 2 seed in the NBA playoffs for a reason.
Yeah. No, I mean it's been great so far. I mean, obviously you can throw in the hometown series with the Pelican Suns. Great series. The Suns are still going at it tonight with the Mavs in a game 7. But it's been great. It's been a good weekend for basketball. We also had everybody wrapped up school this past week, knocked finals out. Feels amazing.
Finally.
Feels amazing. I definitely bombed. I had a final yesterday. I got a grade back there. I got a 50 on it.
Wait, hold on.
I got a 33 on mine.
You had a final yesterday, Saturday?
3 to 5.
3 to 5.
Saturday,
3 p.m. to 5 p.m.
I had one Saturday, 7:30 a.m. And then I didn't go to sleep till 4 o'clock in the morning. I still went out and I still made it to the final. I got an A on that one. Then today I had a final at 9 this morning. I got a 33.
What?
But
Where do professors get off on having finals?
hey, but
on
the professor
weekend?
put 50, so
I mean, you got a little 20-point curve.
I guess that curve helped.
Yeah, I was checking it. My final yesterday was Spanish at 3 p.m. and I was checking it today. And I knew I bombed it. When the second I opened up the exam, I knew I failed it. But it bumped my grade down from an 85 to like a 79.43, which is like right on the cusp of a B.
C+.
Yeah. So when do you know like you failed an exam? Because like for me it's like if I don't know the first question, I know it's like I'm done. Like I'm cooked. I'm cooked.
If you take the test backwards, you fail it. If you start from the bottom, you fail it.
I find myself skipping too many questions.
Yeah.
Bro, my test was on Zoom this morning, so it's like the professor was looking at my screen. So it's like he knew, like if I knew it, he knew the answer was right or wrong. While I'm clicking it, he like wrong. And I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna skip it. I'm gonna flag it, act like maybe it's between these two options. Man, either you know it or you don't.
It's like a whole different level of pressure knowing the professor seeing your every move.
Yeah.
I like the paper finals better. Like you type in a paper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's
Yeah, I
better.
agree.
I can definitely get a
And
B or
there's
A.
more leeway. When you're writing a paper, a teacher might give you some extra points
Yeah.
here and there.
Get a-
But
get a
when you
few
got
little
that multiple
bonus.
choice one online,
Right on.
I had that 2,000-word essay due.
Hmm.
I got a B.
You could bullshit 2,000 words, but
course.
you can't bullshit multiple
It
choice.
was like mass media law.
Oh, yeah.
but yeah, no, it's good. It feels good to be done with it, to not have to worry about it.
It does. It feels great.
But yeah, so a good weekend. We'll rewind back to Friday with LSU basketball. The addition of Adam Miller, which I think everybody was feeling good about Adam Miller beforehand. I was just a little iffy just because I knew his connections to TCU. He had played for TCU's head coach on the Team USA team with TCU's best player, was on the same team with him. But ultimately, he does choose LSU, which I think puts LSU in the conversation for a legit contender in the SEC next season. Obviously, they need like one more big because they're still a little small. They've got a lot of guards out of the portal. But that's a huge addition to this team. And it's going to be good to finally see Adam Miller play in that LSU 44 jersey, which obviously means so much to the program. That the Sims family was willing to let Adam Miller wear this past season. To finally see that like come to fruition is going to be awesome. And not only that, we're going to win basketball games now that we have a legit score.
Yeah. We got. I think we have like 3 or 4 legit scorers now, and they also have like potential to play great defense.
Right.
Also. So like, because last year our big thing was defense, but our Achilles heel was when we got on the offensive side of the ball, we couldn't do anything. We didn't even have any offense. So now we have 3 people that can score and get back on defense and play tough defense. They're long, they're physical, they're mature. So you'll see a little bit better, product maybe this year. I don't know.
And I think they'll have a little bit of a chip on their shoulder just because after everything happened, LSU's going to be counted out. No matter who you bring back, who's added to the team, they're still going to be looked at as there's no way they're going to be able to make anything happen this season. So I think they're going to have a little chip on their shoulder. And it's a lot of guys that, obviously, guys from smaller schools who are going to want to prove themselves. And you got a guy like Adam Miller who really just needs that one season so he can make the jump to the next level. And so it's going to be exciting year for LSU basketball. And then on the flip side, women's basketball has absolutely killed the transfer portal and the high school recruiting. They picked up Angel Reese, who was the #1 player in the portal, former 5-star. She was an All-American, who's going to come in and could potentially be Kim Mulkey's best player next year. With a team that, lost a couple pieces, but still has some of that same core group. And so it's going to be another exciting year for LSU basketball, even though it kind of felt like it was just going to be women's basketball heavy for a little while there. But yeah, we're gonna see. I mean, I think does Kim still have spots that she can add more, or she filled it up?
I think they said maybe it's one more, but
Yeah.
I think with the roster now and with the other 3 transfers who she got with Jasmine, the LaDeja, and Katari Poole from Ohio State, I think what Kim is doing it's amazing in recruiting. we bringing back pieces like Alexis Morris. We got Hannah Gusters. We have people, who's played under her system. And, to the girls who have left or whatnot, because we have lost a significant amount of girls due to senior eligibility as well as the transfer portal as well. It just speaks to the competition, the level here at LSU, the standard with the women's basketball program. We know Kim don't play, and it's gonna be top notch, and that's what I know fans can expect from the first game to the last game, with Angel Reese Cummins scoring 17, 19, 20 points a game, 11, 12 rebounds, with Alexis Morris and what she's able to do, which I believe was the defining piece kind of in the postseason for us. Had we had a 100% healthy Alexis Morris, I believe things could have kind of went a little different, but we could tell she wasn't playing to the fullest of her ability, trying to come back off her knee injury. But yeah, like Flau'jae, the All-American, McDonald's All-American, Jordan Brand player. She's really good. She's coming from Georgia, where basketball is probably one of the best. Texas, Georgia, they're some of the best girls basketball. So it's exciting to see her and what she's gonna do, and also how Kim's gonna embrace the program and the new girls and Flau'jae and the rapper and the hype scene and all of that. It's gonna be cool to see this year what happens with the women's basketball program after the catalyst from last year. It's just like, how much better does it get? So I think that, it's fair for fans to have high expectations, because when you look at the names on paper, this is giving a Final Four, caliber team. So.
And who's leading them. I mean, Kim Mulkey's in charge, and you know what to expect from her. And I think the LSU basketball program as a whole, men's and women's, is better with Kim Mulkey around. I think just having Kim Mulkey there for the women's just makes the men's program better, just because she's gonna push for better facilities and stuff like that, and it's gonna make the whole program better. And it's also gonna build a culture in that sport that LSU hadn't really had, because football and baseball have always led the way. That's gonna bring back kind of that 2005, 2006 kind of feel, when you had like Glenn Davis and then Simone was there, and so you just had like the peak of LSU basketball at that point. Kind of bring that back.
Yeah, and I mean, what Kim is doing on campus and with the program as a whole, and just her leadership is speaking, because I remember like her first press conference, she is very adamant on there being a woman athlete statue on campus. And I mean, every opportunity she got throughout the season to mention it, to bring it up, like whether it was at a press conference, media, administration, she was always gung-ho on making sure that we got a women's statue, and she did it in less than a year. So she made it happen. They brought it to the board, and it got approved. So that's going to be exciting to see next year as well, that they're going to reveal the statue for Simone Augustus too. So I mean, it just speaks to Kim Mulkey and her leadership. Yeah, no,
I mean, she's definitely the right person. I don't think we all knew she was the right person whenever the job came open. It seemed kind of like a long shot to try to get her, and then you pull it off. It's for the best for LSU, and she has what's best for LSU and the state of Louisiana at heart. Every decision she makes, that's what she's doing it for. And so it's just good to have a homebred, leader of a major sport like that, and a major program. So yeah, LSU basketball is going to be exciting, both women's and men's now. Even though we thought it was going to get very sad on the men's side. We've seen Matt McMahon pull off, a great turnaround with guys like, who's it, KJ Williams, the guy from Murray State who we pulled from against North Carolina. I mean, North Carolina's pushing for this guy. He probably had a spot to start at the 4 for North Carolina, because Brady Manick's going to the draft, and LSU was able to pull it off. So it just speaks to Matt McMahon and Kim Mulkey, and then that shows that Scott Woodward's the right guy in charge. He's made the right move so far. I mean, we kind of thought he maybe pulled the trigger on Matt McMahon too fast, because it was such a quick turnaround, but as you've seen, this was the right guy. Just like Brian Kelly, just like Kim Mulkey, all these people that he's brought in. I mean, even Jay Johnson, even though the season's been inconsistent, I mean, this was year 1. Scott Woodward's just the right guy in charge. And it gives us confidence in the future of LSU and all the different sports programs. But then to talk a little bit about Jay Johnson from LSU baseball, it was definitely a tough weekend, I think, to say the least. Friday night kind of threw it all out of whack with the weather, and then you got to push to Saturday morning. So then they played 2 games on Saturday.
Then McHale couldn't pitch.
McHale couldn't pitch Saturday morning, and then you start Fontenot, he can't even get out of an inning. So you got to burn half your bullpen that we already rely so much on. And so Fontenot can't even get out of an inning. You let them score, what'd you say, like 5 runs in 1 inning?
Yeah.
I mean, you let them absolutely just – it looked like the ball's on a tee. I went back and watched the highlights, and every pitch they were just home run, double, off the wall. Like, it was just every ball was just getting blazed across the field. And then they come out today, and you're like, well, maybe LSU can pull off kind of like what they did against Texas A&M, where you lose the first 2, and you're able to pull off a big win in Game 3. And, they battled back. They tied it up 3-3, but then after that, A&M had a two home run inning, and LSU was just never able to close the gap. But I think we might be able to have a little special guest in. We have a diehard Ole Miss fan that's going to call in and talk a little bit about the weekend. We'll see what happens with that. But I think we're going to head to a quick break, and then we're going to have this Ole Miss fan speak his heart after really not just baseball. Basketball lost to Ole Miss. Football lost to Ole Miss. It's been a rough year, all in all. But we'll see what he has to say. So we'll be back in probably about a minute with a diehard Ole Miss Rebels fan. All right, we're back. We got the phone call. Hello, hello.
What's up?
Turn it up. All right, we got us a little Ole Miss fan here. Go ahead and just tell us about the weekend. How do you feel?
Man, I wish next weekend could be LSU again so we can whoop their ass again. I mean, from going to Oxford, Mississippi this year for the football game, whooping their ass at Ole Miss, being able to sit next to the LSU section, talking shit the whole time, then sitting next to the student section in the so-called Death Dome, that I've been in that place so many times, and I mean, I'm here just fine. I don't, they really need to change that name of the Death Dome to let's bring in money, let's pay players. We'll wait to play some more players. I mean, if they can't beat a mediocre Ole Miss team, that's pretty sad. 76-72, Ruffin goes off for 19 in the first half. I mean, we could have put 100 if Ruffin doesn't get. Who was it? Darius Days doesn't tear his ACL. Doesn't tear Ruffin's ACL. I mean, we're trying to hurt him, I guess. But, you know, and then we come to Baton Rouge. It's the box. It's supposed to be intimidating. They got, 6 national championships. They got the Intimidator sign in right field. You know, I come in the Alex box. I fear nothing. You know, I want every single game we play against LSU inside the box. That place does not scare nobody.
Yeah.
You know, we go inside, we sweep. Second game of the weekend, we destroy them. Could have destroyed them game 3. We really don't want to do that. Jay Johnson's first year. We don't want to get fired. You know, he's a good coach. I really like the guy. Did some stuff good at Arizona. Beat us last year, but we're not going to talk about that. You know, I'm feeling really good. I'm feeling really good right now.
Do you think Mike Bianco had a little chip on his shoulder after he didn't get the nod to be LSU's head baseball coach? You think he came in with a little chip on his shoulder?
You know, that's why I'm going to give a nice little fuck you to Scott Woodward for putting that out there when it was supposed to be a nice, discreet meeting at Birmingham, Alabama. Yeah, go fuck yourself. And I'm just so glad for Mike because he's been taking a lot of shit this year. And he's taking a lot of shit from me on Mess's boards. But we're getting hot at the right time. So I'm definitely going to take this right now.
Yeah.
You know, let's go to A&M. Let's sweep them. Let's get in the SEC tournament and do something.
Yeah. How do you feel? How do you feel going into the postseason? And you know, Omaha's not really. Ole Miss isn't really used to Omaha. So I mean, how do you feel heading into the postseason?
Well, we're definitely not getting a top 16 seed. Right. Definitely not getting a top 8. None of that bullshit. So really, we're going in lose. It's not like we're going in with we have to get to Omaha. I mean, Mike has to get to Omaha to save his job. That was going in from the season from the start. If he doesn't get to Omaha, he's losing his job.
You think they'd fire Bianco after this season?
Now, oh my God, this is what I'm hearing a lot right now. If he gets to game 3, that's gonna be the most toughest decision for Keith Carter to make because he gets to so many game 3s, but he doesn't come out on top. But you get a guy like Ben McDonald. Is it Ben McDonald? I think they both have names. Big McDonald. They got from Louisville. I think it is. Or you got a guy, Carl Lafferty. Not Carl Lafferty. That's our guy. That dude from ECU.
Oh, Cliff Godwin.
Cliff Godwin. Yeah. Oh, you get that guy who's young and upcoming, just like Jay Johnson's young and upcoming, and you put some energy in this program. But you get a guy like Dan McDonald. That has been to the World Series with Louisville, a team that has no fans. They don't put money into the program, but you come to Ole Miss SEC program that's about to put another $40 million into the program. You're recruiting top 10 every single year, and you can just do everything. Omaha or bust every single year with Dan McDonald.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think there was a lot of smoke around Mike Bianco coming to LSU, and I think there's a lot of criticism of him. And then another head coach that was under a little bit of criticism was, y'all's basketball coach. So go ahead and give me your feelings on him.
All right, Kermit, great coach. Anybody would love to have him. He's a great X and those guys, amazing. I think that if we didn't have Kermit this year, you would have saw us, I would say 2-3 wins. We'd be like a Jordan. We would have been to Georgia, won the SEC, quit on the coach halfway through the season. But with him being so good on the X's and O's, he took Ruffin was out half the year, Joyner was out half the year, Robert Allen, the staple of the 1-3-1 defense at the beginning, he was out all year. So he's taking these guys with playing 2-3 walk-ons all year at SEC play, but he's getting some transfers in. He's getting some nice defensive staples into this program. He got one for Jackson State, 6'11" forward. Got one for Loyola down in New Orleans, and then he just got one today. I heard about, but I didn't look at him yet. And he's getting that defense right. So that's where it starts out, because you get stops, you can go in transition, you can run with Ruffin, you can he can pass it to Morrell, he can shoot up for a 3, and really that's where the offense is going to run through.
Yeah, and then just flip it back to baseball. One of y'all's guys, Tim Elko. He really seems to be like the heart and soul of the Ole Miss baseball team. Just tell me a little bit about that guy.
Captain. Just been in this program for 5 years, since 2018. Wasn't very good.
40 years old.
Yes. He actually, at the 2018 SEC Championship in Hoover, when Ole Miss played LSU and beat LSU 9-1, we all rushed the field, got on the field, took a picture with the trophy. One of my friends went to the LSU dugout, took the lineup card, gave it to me. Got it signed by a couple of people that was still on the team back then. Got signed by Bianco today, which was surprising. He was still on that lineup card. That's how I just realized how old he is. But it's just an amazing person. If he doesn't get a statue at Ole Miss for what we did last year, I just don't know what the hell Keith Carter's doing. 8 home runs with a torn ACL. He comes back this year and hits 19 home runs. An amazing person. Will sign any ball, talk to anybody. Doesn't matter what time, what day. It's a guy who truly believes in God. He does everything through him, and it's amazing that I'm so glad he came to Ole Miss.
Yeah. And then to flip the script a little bit, tell me about Dylan Cruz, a guy that, even though Ole Miss wins the weekend, I mean, he still made Ole Miss look like a Little League baseball team. Just because of how talented he is. He's easily the best player in college baseball. Oh, yeah,
easily the best player. Is he draft eligible just this year, or is it next year?
He's got one more season.
Okay, that's Barry. That's Barry. Yeah, Barry was in this lineup.
Yeah, if Barry's in the lineup, LSU wins the series.
It's a whole different weekend.
LSU wins the weekend if Barry's in the lineup. You got some bullet.
We, instead of pitching around Barry and going right after Cruz, because Cruz, you will never see. I have not seen Cruz hit a home run to left field yet. I've been a good bit of midweek games and a couple SEC games. Have not seen him hit a home run to left field very much. It's all right center, all right field, because everybody pitches him out away. Well, when we did attack him this weekend, it was in, especially with Dylan DeLucia pitched on the first game. He pitched him in, and he came back with Sauter down and out. And just like Tim Elko, we're going back to Tim Elko. He's got very long arms, and every single game I listen to on the radio or on TV, they're like, "Why don't you pitch him in? He's got very long arms. Don't let him extend. Don't let him extend." And people just keep throwing out to him, and that's when he hits those balls to right field, just like he did that Saturday game against Fontenot.
Yeah.
And then he hit a ball to right field against I don't know who it was, but it was like a third, fourth inning. But yeah, but we were lucky Barry was not in, because we got to pitch around Cruz, and then when we did have to attack him, he had that home run Friday night, found him first, and that's when I said, "Oh fuck, I was not gonna have some fun." But then here we go with the errors. LSU has an error. Who was it? Was it McManus, or was it the other catcher?
McManus was behind the plate this week.
McManus was behind the plate. Okay, yeah. If he doesn't let that ball go, LSU wins that game. What was it? 4-1.
Yeah.
Because we don't score those 4 runs after that.
Yeah. No, I agree.
But that's what Doty had 2 errors Saturday. That's what killed LSU. Because that just gets a rally going, and you go back to your dugout and down 2, you can get something going. But That's what Jay Johnson is known for, hitting and hitting only. But when LSU started pitching very, very well this upcoming year, like the beginning of the year, I got pretty scared because y'all could hit and pitch.
Yeah.
Defense doesn't really matter. But
Aaron's
definitely killed all this
we
weekend.
got a little question from the chat. They want to know what you think about Ole Mincey, the leader of Ole Miss, Louisiana native. What's your take on old Barstool Mincey?
Mincey, yeah, that dude, amazing character. From the bottom to all the way to the top with Barstool. Going from Shreveport radio down to Baton Rouge and now making his way up to New York, which is pretty insane. Off of Kentucky 2-point conversion with Lane Kiffin.
Yeah, what do you?
It's pretty crazy because if you go back to the Egg Bowl 2019, if Elijah Moore does not lift his leg, we will never have Lane Kiffin. We will never have clipboard moments, and we will never have all these damn antics that dude's doing.
Do you think that Mincey's kind of brought back a little bit of swagger to Oxford, to Ole Miss? You think he's kind of led the charge on that?
Yes, because he's getting it nation. He's basically putting it Ole Miss on the map nationwide with him getting the Barstool, putting it on Twitter, putting us everywhere, doing all these videos. Dinner Mints, something talk with Dinner Mints was some bullshit.
Yeah,
that dude's definitely put us on the map.
Well, all right, man. We'll see if Ole Miss can pull it off in the postseason. We know LSU can. We'll see what y'all do. We'll catch up with you some other day.
Oh, thank y'all.
All right, buddy. Well, there was classic Oxford Ole Miss conversation. What else do you expect? But yeah, no. I mean, you kind of got to take it on the chin as an LSU fan after this past weekend, because especially that Saturday game, losing 11-1, you can't even try to. Yeah.
And this far down the stretch, you shouldn't continue to be this inconsistent.
I agree.
That's what I said before the UGA game. I thought that it would be good if we could have started establishing that consistency, and then they played pretty well in the UGA series. So it's like, okay, that's what we like to see. And I think I said it on the last episode afterwards, after the UGA series, like the next goal for us needs to be continuing that in the SEC play as we start to get closer to the postseason. And you would have liked to see, although we didn't have our guy, heck, that could happen in the playoffs. We don't have our guy. We need everybody to still step up and play the LSU standard of baseball. So I guess, make those adjustments. Coach Johnson needs to make this week, whatnot, but it would be nice to start seeing that consistency, and we need to see that, develop that consistency if we want to have a shot in the postseason, whether that's SEC play or making it to Omaha, because just making it to Omaha, we know from the beginning that we wasn't trying to win a national championship this year, but making it should be at least a goal. That way, we know where to go from there in the following seasons.
Yeah, no, and I think when it comes to that consistency, obviously the inconsistency we've always talked about is the fielding and the defense. But I think the struggle that we've seen with the pitching, with the starting pitching not being consistent, after you have to bump Blake Money out and you switch up who's starting. I mean, didn't Dutton get pulled today after one pitch?
And that's big.
Yeah, like the first pitch, they hit a double and then you pull your pitcher. You don't even give him a chance to kind of. And I guess, Jay Johnson's talked about it with Mikey on his show, and he says that there's a strategy to everything he does. But to me, like, it's just pulling a starter after one pitch, and you don't even give him a chance. You can't bring him back in the game. I mean, it just throws off kind of the whole morale of the team.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah, and so I think that just the inconsistency from the top down on defense is just they just haven't been able to get control really at all.
And that's really sad to see, because before this series, it really looked like the LSU team was really starting to click and starting to come together. And they had a different juice to them, but this weekend just changed everything.
Yeah, no, I agree. It started to seem like they were on the right trajectory, and Ole Miss was the same way. They were both moving up, and so we thought this was going to be a good series this weekend, and really it just wasn't. LSU didn't step up. They didn't come to the plate really at all. And so it kind of throws. It's one of those series again. We start to feel like this. We start to feel good, and then they throw one of those series, where it's just like, what happened?
And that's how it's been all year.
Yeah, that's how it's been all year. You start to feel good. You think you're like the Florida series. We feel good about that, You know, we're not supposed to be Florida. We get whooped in game one, and then you turn around and win the next two. And then you're just not able to string series together until this past month, and then it comes down to getting swept like this. So, I mean, LSU's got to finish strong through the rest of the season. They got Vanderbilt up next. Vanderbilt, you got to go into the SEC tournament and actually make some more noise. Like last year, we saw them turn it on right at the end, you know, going into like the NCAA tournament. But the SEC tournament this year, you actually have to make something happen. Because, I mean, we want to have a regional, we want to have a super regional, we want to have all that as LSU. And to pull that off, you really have to turn it on and become the LSU team that you're supposed to be. But in good news, you know, LSU, they're probably the sport they've been best at recently is track and field. TJ, I know you wanted to touch on that, so really the floor is yours.
Yeah, so I just wanted to touch because LSU track and field, they will be starting to start their postseason. Well, they did start their postseason with SECs this weekend out in Oxford at Ole Miss. The women's team came probably closest to bringing home the title. They kind of fell short through the last two events, but Favor Foley, she really held the weight with bringing in points. She won the 100, the 200, the girls 4x1. Also won their race with a season best of a 42.59, which is really good. Aaliyah Armstrong, she gave the Tigers the fourth win with the 100-meter hurdles. She's been strong for the Tigers all season. Her prices definitely went up all year. So it's going to be exciting to see her over the next couple of weeks, what she does, and hopefully she could bring home the title in those 100-meter hurdles. As for the men's, our men's team doesn't really have the depth that they've been known to have in the past, which is okay after losing guys like Javon, who you knew would bring in 20 points consistently, sometimes even maybe 30 points, depending on how many events he did as far as jumping. So, you know, we're seeing a little bit of struggle in the depth of the men's, but Eric Edwards, he had a personal best of a 13.28 in the 110 hurdles, and Sean Brody Dixon, he brought the triple jump title with the personal best of a 53.8. Also, to highlight Dorian Campbell, he's been PR, and it's been interesting to watch. He's been posting it on Instagram over the last couple weeks, like his goals, and he's actually been like making those cuts on those times. So last 2 weeks he's PR'd. He came in third this weekend in the SECs, but as he does bring that time closer to, as right now I think it's like a 10.1. So as he does bring that time closer to a sub 9, he may be able to bring him home a title later in the season. So, you know, just congrats to the track team, and y'all keep doing what y'all's doing moving forward.
Yeah, just keep it. I mean, keep it up, and you know Louisiana loves a winner. And the track team's done it consistently for years and years and years. And so, you know, heading into the postseason, really just support them. You know, that's all you can really ask for. But then in other news, you know, we talked about Friday being a big day. It was a big day for the Saints. Ron, I know Friday put a big smile on your face. What was your first reaction when you saw the news that Jarvis was headed home?
I really liked it, and honestly, when the offseason first began, I probably wanted us to stay away from Jarvis just because I didn't want him to be our wide receiver too. I wanted us to get something in the draft first, and I'm glad we did that. And with that being said, I am really happy that we did get Jarvis because he brings so much more than just on-field production to the team.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that wide receiver room went from one of the worst in the league to one of the best.
Top 5.
And really in no time. Like you go
in
from
days.
You go from Marquez Callaway, Traquan Smith, and
Lil Jordan Humphrey.
And Lil Jordan Humphrey, and throwing the ball to Jawan Johnson 50 times a game. And now you got Michael Thomas, who was the best receiver in the league.
Offensive player of the year.
3 years ago. And now you got Chris Olave, who we've heard just from rookie minicamp that he looks amazing. Yeah. He looks great. And then Jarvis Landry, who is great, like you said, great on the field and great in the locker room.
And we still got Traquan.
Yeah, and we still got Traquan. We still got all those other guys. Now they're just in a role that they're supposed to be in. And, you know, after the Jarvis news, I went back and watched that Hard Knocks clip of him in the wide receiver room when he was with the Browns, when he was talking to him. And it just brought tears to my eyes. I was just so happy to see him in a Saints uniform. Obviously, he put out that video whenever he did sign, and that was probably one of the coolest things I've seen when a player announces. You know, a lot of times they'll just like Tyron will just have the the jersey swap and stuff like that. But for Jarvis to have like that video,
Yeah, like he just broke it. Like he just broke
Right.
it. Just right there. Like that's what it is.
You know, with the Lutcher highlights, you got
Yeah.
LSU highlights, Miami.
It was perfect.
It was amazing. And the good thing is the contract that he signed is only like I think it's a year, $6 million.
Yeah.
Which, once again, Mickey Loomis gives us. Here's that video right here. Mickey Loomis gives us the opportunity to, add more depth to the team. Because I think you could still look for a second running back.
Yeah, definitely another running back too. Because Mark Ingram, while he's serviceable, he's a bit old, and in this league you need 2 consistent running backs for a little bit of balance.
Yeah, so I think you can go there, but it's just it's good to see the Saints making the moves that we've wanted them to make, because it feels like for so long, the move has been right there in front of them, and they just don't pull the trigger on it.
I really think Sean Payton had something against LSU. He had to.
Something, but and it's just to see Jarvis and Tyron in these in the Saints uniform and taking team-friendly contracts.
Hometown discounts.
Yeah, and so I mean, I think Odell might have commented on Jarvis's Instagram post, and I mean, obviously we're gonna push for it. I mean, it stacks up the wide receiver room, but who wouldn't want to see Odell in a Saints uniform?
Just
Like that color rush,
just imagine a receiver room with Michael Thomas, Chris Olave, Jarvis Landry, Odell Beckham.
Ohio State
LSU, like just keep
I don't know
it
if it would
running.
be the best fit for Odell.
No, it's not.
I think either staying in Los Angeles or going to Green Bay are probably the two most popular and best spots for him. But as a Saints fan and an LSU fan, I think the best spot is New Orleans.
Yeah.
But
I can
no.
imagine that.
I think the Saints are
I
gonna
think
look
I
pretty
may
good.
have to become a fan.
Right.
Look, TJ, you really a bandwagon fan. I'm gonna let you slide. I'm gonna let you
I'm
slide.
not a bandwagon.
And then there's a whole new layer to that Bengals game.
Yeah.
And because right now it's kind of like old LSU versus
It's
new
really
LSU.
LSU versus LSU.
They gotta change that time though. Like
Yeah,
that
12
noon
o'clock,
kickoff
too
ain't
early.
that ain't
Why-
it
how is
at
this
all.
not a primetime game?
Right, that should be Sunday night football. Like
Right. I guess they want to give you time to party. Like they want the Saints to win. They want everybody to party after.
But I'm trying to be in New Orleans the whole day, party the whole day, and then go to the game.
I don't think
like
I'm gonna
LSU
make
game.
But yeah, no, great news. And then in other professional sports, we still got the playoffs going on.
Luka was going crazy in the first half. Luka had 27 in the first half, and the Suns had 27 total points as a team.
Right now, the Mavericks are winning 83-42.
Exactly.
And I told
That's
you,
crazy.
and I said it. Dallas
No
was going
way.
to win.
Luka
Man.
Doncic has 33 points. Devin Booker's got 9 on 2 for 11 shooting.
Yeah, it's over.
That is crazy.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, if the Suns pull it off, all
They
power
won't.
to them, because I mean,
They won't.
that'd be one of the craziest comebacks I've ever
I
seen.
don't
in my
know.
life.
Okay, what is the consensus hate behind Chris Paul? Because I know like countless people. Like one of my friends just texted our group message and said CP3 downfall.
Well,
So he is like everybody hates Chris Paul for
It's
some
just,
reason.
it's just
Like,
we've
why?
never looked.
What is it?
We've always seen Chris Paul, Hornets Chris Paul. You never really looked under the microscope until that series, the Pelican Sun series, and then you see, like the little things he does, elbow in
Nudging
and
yeah, like
people.
he baits a lot. Like
Right.
he baits a lot for calls, and like he was one of the players like in the NBA. Like when they signed like their bargaining agreement, like he one of the main people for that, and like a lot of fans really like think of him as a cop or something like that. Like that's why they don't like him. I personally love CP3.
Yeah, no, I like CP3. I just think that Suns Pels series, you kind of see it. You look at CP3 from a different angle, a different point of view, and you kind of looking at him like the villain at that point.
Yeah.
And so I think, but really the Suns team as a whole, I don't really like. I mean, Devin Booker, I like Devin Booker, but like Jay Crowder, don't like Jay Crowder.
Cameron Payne.
Cameron Payne, that picture of Cameron Payne,
That's
probably one of the funniest
hilarious.
things I've ever seen.
He was getting a haircut.
And like the funny thing is, I'm not even gonna lie, I really don't even understand the joke about what you're putting it with. It's just funny to see
Like it's just like an awkward like
the
camera
way
angle.
it's just got, the way his head shape is so unfortunate, and like I feel bad for him, but you let him put that picture out, so I mean nothing you can do. But then in the East we've got Heat versus Celtics, kind of like a throwback feel.
Yeah.
Bron, versus the Celtics.
See, that's why I said this playoffs. Like they got that throwback
Right.
feel, and then
Little
like the
nostalgia.
scores haven't been as high. Like it's been a lot of defense, not a lot of offense. Like it's just real good
It's been some
basketball.
good basketball.
It's
Right.
great
Right.
basketball.
It's been
Like
some great basketball.
How do we feel about the Heat Celtics series going into it?
I'm
So I
ready.
want the Celtics.
I'm going
Yeah,
think
I'm
the
gonna go with the
Celtics.
Celtics.
Let's go. Heat.
I want to see.
That's my favorite team.
I'm ready to see Jason Tatum against
I'm going to Celtics.
Jimmy.
Jimmy Butler. Yeah,
Yeah.
Jimmy Bucket.
But
It's
you know,
That's
Jimmy
good.
Butler, not even a top scorer for the Heat, is really.
Tyler Hero. Yeah.
Yeah, last series.
He had 30.
Well, last series Jimmy kind of took it personal.
Yeah.
That clip of him walking back to the locker room where he's
Me?
yelling about them picking Tobias Harris over
Me?
him.
Tobias Harris over me?
It was awesome.
I don't think it's going to 7 games. I think it's going to be Boston in 6.
Yeah,
Wow.
I'm
I think
calling
Celtics gonna get the
Boston
heat out of
in
them.
Yeah, the Celtics just been playing with this. Like the Celtics got this. No, bro. Like honestly, I know. I
So
feel
what
you.
think
Look,
it's
as a
gonna be?
fan,
Five,
and you.
six, seven,
I feel you as a fan.
Bro, I'm realist, bro. I'm real.
I feel you as a fan, but like the way the Celtics been playing, it's just like it's no way that they go into Milwaukee, beat the Bucks, do them how they did them, and then now they come to Miami, and it's just I don't know. I just
they-
don't see.
I feel like it would have been a different series if Chris Middleton played. Though.
It would've.
They needed his
They
shot
did.
making at the end of the
But Chris
game,
Middleton
stuff
was
like that.
iffy anyway. He was
He was always
inconsistent.
iffy though. But
Yeah.
look, he was iffy, but at the end of the game, he coming through. He getting them 46 points that you need to clinch the game or whatnot. So I mean, I think it's gonna be physical for sure. But I
Definitely.
think it's gonna come down to who gonna hit shots. Cause like when we hit shots, we a different team. Like we show number one seed, we hit shots, but that's our problem. We can't always hit shots. So I mean, it's gonna be. We always end up playing Boston in the conference finals for some reason.
Right.
But the Celtics are tough.
They are. No, I think this series. I mean, you saw how physical the Bucks Celtics series was. I think this one's gonna be just as
Yeah,
physical.
that's this.
Maybe a little more.
Exact same way.
This is about to
It's
be a
straight
dog
easy.
fight.
It's gonna be scrappy. But I think when it comes down to it, comes down to who has the better player.
Yeah.
And so I mean, right there you're comparing Jimmy Butler and Jason Tatum.
And then after that, it gets scared for the Heat.
Hey, look, Tatum really is like Tatum really is.
Mad at that team.
Tatum really is making himself like a superstar now,
Yeah,
and,
what
and
he
he
did in
was
Game
he was
6,
before.
like-
I thought he was before, but now it's like he really
He
is
make it
taking
look
it over.
easy.
Like
Defender
really,
now, too. Like,
Yeah.
it's- like, he a top-notch defender now.
Well, he's shooting that. He's shooting.
And
that.
so I think
with
I
that
think,
confidence,
over Giannis.
yeah.
I think career trajectory wise, I think this is a big series for him.
Yeah.
Like to kind of put him into that next.
Cause he been to the
to that
finals
elite,
a couple
to that
times.
elite
Right.
status, the
Yeah.
superstar.
And the way he played Friday,
Yeah,
that's why I
yeah.
said the way he played Friday at the end of the
Look,
game.
that's that.
like,
That's that.
it's-
That
it's
boy.
great
That boy.
motivation.
Nice.
he scored like 11 or 12 of their points
Right.
off in the fourth quarter. Like I know for a fact they put it up in there as like scored 12 points, like 12 points the quarter. That
Yeah.
was though. He wouldn't have came up clutch, and he was shooting threes like from 35 feet out and just over a defender, like not scared. It just shows his like poise and grit and just like.
What's up with Jason?
That's what you want to see in the playoffs, and that's what you want to see. That's what makes the KDs, the Brons, the Stephs, like that's what makes somebody an elite player and a superstar different than just not saying James Harden not a superstar, but you know what I'm saying.
No, you
Not
can
no
say
more.
it.
You can
No,
take
you
him
can
off.
say it.
He's got
No,
right there.
James
You know what I'm
really
saying?
He has to
James
get
really
his
missed
Go
his.
get that title because
Yeah.
like what you do when it's time to come clutch. Like Jason Tatum basically put his team on his back game 6,
Right.
second half. Then game 7, I mean, he come in, he know it's like my time to shine. The last series, he came clutch. Like he always like stepping up when it's his moment. And so like TD Garden gonna be jumping like. The Heat don't even. It got that throwback feel because the game and the team is there. But like I remember watching the Heat game a couple weeks ago, and the stadium wasn't even. They stadium wasn't even
they
sold out.
stadium-
And it's like when Braun was there, the whiteout, like it was like them people was in there packed like sardines, and it don't come the same. But the Celtics fan base, they done been to 17 championships. Like the way that their arena rocks every game, like it's gonna be a hostile environment for the Celtics, and I feel like the Celtics coming off of their series, they're more, prepared. Yeah, like the Bucks fans, they was there. All their games have been to like such a level
Right.
of high intensity, and that's gonna be what they coming off of, a high intensity boss mindset. I feel like the Heat kind of like they've been chilling back at the crib. You know, they done already knocked their team out, so it's up with them. They just chilling, and if they come in with that mindset, like they gonna have to be aggressive the whole series.
Right. I think missing Kyle Lowry is gonna make an impact.
Yeah. Jaylen Brown, he gonna really be the X factor.
That's what I'm saying. I was just about to say that. I feel like he got to be like his best version of himself.
Right.
Yeah.
In this series. Tatum could go for 40, 50, and they could still lose if nobody else can shot.
Yeah.
But the way Tatum has been playing, I think he should be in that conversation with some of the elites because he's been playing some great
Of
basketball.
course.
And not just this year, like he been like that
Consistently.
honestly.
Top 5 would have cut. He's top 5 would have cut.
But I feel like he gotta make it to that finals.
Right.
Now. Like
If
you
he gets
gotta
to
get
that
to that.
finals, he's gonna be in that
And like to
conversation.
me, it feel like last year and this, but even more this year. Like this year for me, all the sports feel like they're like actually being played how
Yeah.
they're supposed to be played. Like basketball in June and July not meant to be played in a bubble. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? Like last year, half the season, fans was there, and then like you go to one arena and
You
there's
can't go to
20,000
some.
fans, then you go to another
3,000.
arena, there's 10,000
Yeah.
fans.
Nine
Like,
and something.
yeah, like everything was so inconsistent to me. I feel like this year, for football, college football, for everything, that this year is like the year that everything finally got back on track. And like now everybody's playing to that like their
Right.
highest level. So now like I feel like it's all eyes on Tatum. Like
Right.
Jimmy Butler made it to the finals. Granted, they lost or whatnot, but like the Heat has proven that they can make it to the finals or whatnot. Like this Jimmy Butler time to like get over that hump, and I mean this Jason Tatum time to get over that hump and bring that shit back to Boston.
That's gonna be the series to watch.
Yeah, 100%. I think I think the West series gonna be fun. I mean, obviously it's gonna be
It's
the
gonna be
Mavs.
The East is
offensive.
always a
Mavs and
dog
Warriors
fight.
now,
Yeah.
but
The East is a dog
The West,
fight.
like usually like you see a lot of points. Stuff like
pretty.
that.
It's
This
like
gonna be
pretty
Golden
boy
State and
basketball.
Dallas.
Yeah, the East where you seeing boys get banged up. You know what I'm saying? Like no one. Stuff like
Yeah, that's gonna be. I mean, and you just look at two guys, like one guy from each team. With the Celtics, you got Marcus Smart, and then the Heat, you got PJ Tucker. Like those are just like the tone setters. You know what I mean? And so I think that's how you just know it's gonna be a dogfight.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that was and so it's gonna be fun basketball. And we're gonna see the Mavericks pull this out.
What's the score right now?
They're probably up 50.
I don't know. I mean, the game is complete in the third quarter.
I mean,
And
pack it up.
89-50.
Pack it up there.
I mean,
I already told y'all. I'm from
I'll tell you
Dallas.
what, the Pelicans don't go out like this. Pelicans don't go out losing by 40.
Yeah, we didn't get blown out.
If the Pelicans could have pulled through the Sun series, I mean, I think they can hang with the Mavericks. But we're not going to speak in hypotheticals. I'm not going to get sad.
I don't know.
All right,
Jose
you're
would've had
I mean,
Luka
you're
crying.
Dallas. We can't listen to you.
Yeah, I'm from Dallas. Luka's tough.
But yeah, we're going to talk to you now, KJ. Talk to you a little bit about your brand and what you've been doing. So just starts off, just tell us a little bit about you and how you got started with this.
Yeah, y'all know my name is KJ. I'm from Atlanta. I started my brand in 2020, December 2020. It's a roller coaster ride. I mean, you really just got to be prepared for that. Like when you get yourself into that, because like it's a lot more things you're gonna learn or things you're not gonna expect. You know what I'm saying? So it's really a tough situation, but you know what I'm saying. When you got television, you know you're going for it.
Yeah. What was kind of your thought process? Like, what made you want to take the step and make this happen?
Yeah, so I started off reselling shoes. So I was into all the hype, all the, you know what I'm saying, all the up-to-date fashion or whatnot. So I look at designs or whatnot and I'll be like, I'll move this to a different side of this shirt. Or, you know what I'm saying? Just seeing my own vision in clothes. So once I got to school, like reselling slow for me, because you know, Baton Rouge is like, it's not really a high resale market like it is in Atlanta. So it was an adjustment for me. And then I really wanted to make sure, like, if I was going to shift my business focus, like, it had to be something I'm passionate about, right? Not something I was just going to, like, oh, let me do this right now, and just sell it. Like, it had to be something I knew I could last with. So I started my brand December 8th, 2020. In my dorm room, just going through designs, you know what I'm saying? Looking at, like, the deeper meaning of the words and whatnot, like, I went to my brand names.
Yeah.
So, how'd you come up with the concept of Strike 5, and what does that mean? You know, what explain it.
Yeah, so strike, another meaning for strike that not a lot of people know about is to move vigorously with a purpose. So I just feel like that's a motto for life, period.
Yeah.
Like, you're not gonna do nothing being stagnant or, you know what I'm saying, not trying to improve yourself or elevate yourself. And then 5 is like my legacy number, so it's like, that's the number I want in sports. Like, it's my favorite number. It's just like, I'm on Madden, I'm choosing number 5.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just my number. So it went together. I wanted to spell it differently. I didn't want to just put the number 5. You know what I'm saying? So I thought that was really unique way to spell it.
So what would you say has been like the most rewarding thing? Well, first, tell us the most like challenging thing. What's been the one thing you had to like learn, or the biggest lesson? Like, tell us one of those, and then tell us what's been like the most rewarding thing or the benefit that you get the most joy from.
Yeah. So the most challenging thing, just like not getting discouraged. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't necessarily have this problem, but it was just like at times you can always get discouraged. So you seeing other people around, you know what I'm saying? Everybody's taking off and whatnot, but I just know that my time is coming. I know it's a time meant for everybody to blow up, or, you know what I'm saying, get to that next level. So I just feel like I gotta keep installing my ideas and what I feel about things into my, you know what I'm saying, my pieces or whatnot. But also finding a manufacturer, you know what I'm saying, finding high quality pieces or whatnot. Like, the first piece I ever dropped, like, it was a gilded hood, you know what I'm saying? And it was made with a heat press and a cricket machine. That's what I started with. Now with my clothes, I'm overseas in Pakistan, or like manufactured. You know what I'm saying? So you run into problems even like shipping or things like that. So I say that's the most challenging. And then the best reward is just seeing how people actually like feel about your ideas. You know what I'm saying? Seeing people really like your ideas or whatnot, even like that outshadows anybody who don't like your ideas.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I really don't care who like is not a supporter. You know what I'm saying? Because I know my fan base is authentic. You know what I'm saying? I know everybody know that my pieces have meanings or whatnot. So I think it's just like seeing people that actually see the same vision as you. Like, I'll get a text, you know, like, oh, I just seen somebody in the brand on campus. Yeah. Somebody in Atlanta, like, making home. Oh, I just seen somebody in your merch, you know what I'm saying? So I know in this higher reward, you know what I'm saying? Seeing the sale pop up on my phone, where it's like, you really bought this from me? Like, you know what I'm saying? I went through all this to get this, and you bought it. You just need to work.
And what would you say is like your 5-year long-term goal, like your 10-year goal? Like, do you always want to have strike 5, or do you see yourself like one day changing it? What's the goal for it?
Yeah, so I think strike 5, I think that's something I'm gonna stick with. It's just so, I feel like I put so much thought into the name and the brand itself, you know what I'm saying? It's not just about clothes, you know what I'm saying? It can expand into more things, but I think clothes is the best start because that's something I'm passionate about. I know what I'm doing. I know I got a thing for this fashion sense or whatnot. So I just feel like at the end of the day, strike 5 gonna be my best interest to keep going.
No, I mean, that's awesome. Because, you know, it's like you're talking about that reward. It's like an extension of yourself. You know, 'cause you put so much work into it.
Yeah. It's like this is my child. You know what I'm saying? It's like I'm seeing this blow up. I'm seeing this certain people, you know what I'm saying, top tier athletes liking it, or people I would never thought would like my clothes.
Yeah.
So I just feel like the main things I make sure of my brand, my top 3 things are customer service, quality products, and, you know what I'm saying, marketing. So I just need to make sure like people understand the message of my clothes. Like with the last thing I just dropped, I attached the prelude to the front page so people can understand the concept of this right here. People can understand the concept of what they wearing, you know what I'm saying, so they can feel a part of something.
Right. Yeah, no, that's awesome. Tell everybody where they can find you at.
Y'all can find me in Baton Rouge. Y'all can find me in Atlanta. My website is available. You can follow me on Instagram at RichBoyKJ, RICHHBOYKJ. Twitter at KGB or at my TikTok, Mr.
No, yeah, that's awesome. We want to be able to kind of highlight and put the spotlight on, people that are pursuing their passion.
That's the Instagram.
Yep.
Everybody's looking for the
This
Instagram.
is the Instagram page
That's
right
the
there.
most recent drop. I actually got my first pop-up shop ever this weekend
Yeah.
in Atlanta, so I'm gonna post a preview of what's dropping this weekend.
Yeah, we want to be able to, to kind of put a spotlight on, students and people our age that are pursuing their passions. I mean, that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
And so to see you do the same thing, it's awesome. But yeah, I mean, is there anything else that y'all want to hit on tonight before we close off? All right. Well, we'll see y'all back next week. KJ, we appreciate you being here, hanging out with us. Yeah. We'll see y'all next week. Jordy might not have a show. He sends a little text. Might go at 8:30 tomorrow, just because there's a big news weekend. Mikey 11-1. We'll be back next weekend, next Sunday night, 7, 7:30, 8, 8:30, something like that. We'll see y'all then.